But I wanted to get your reaction to what we saw at the White House yesterday, and how do you think it's being viewed by, somebody like Vladimir Putin?
I think you pretty well summed it up. It's a sign of weakness. It's much like the defense budget that we discussed yesterday that's been proposed by Joe Biden. When you look at it in real dollar terms, after taking into account inflation, it's a significant cut in our defense spending of what you can actually purchase for national security. And that display of weakness will only embolden our geopolitical foes.
I mean, we really do see President Biden projecting weakness on all fronts. The former president overshadowing the current president. And we also see the sensitivity inside the White House to this woke agenda. I mean, just this week we saw Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez calling out the president for his missteps, her words, and she says he's losing the support of progressive Democrats. Here she is.
But I do think that time for the administration is running out. And we do not have much more time to wait. This is really about the collapse in support among young people, among the Democratic base, feeling like they are not, that they worked overtime to get this president elected, and they aren't necessarily being seen.
Do you think that has anything to do with the White House extending these student loan pause?
It may. There's some connectivity, but the Democrats, unfortunately, don't believe in that kind of honor, that kind of contractual obligation, and it's most unfortunate. Probably what is most interesting about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez talking about Joe Biden not being liberal enough or socialist enough is look at this nominee that the Democrats have put forth, that Joe Biden put forth for the United States Supreme Court. This is far and away the most radical left-wing judicial activist that has ever been on the United States Supreme Court, if confirmed by the United States Senate. And that's not good enough for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. That ought to be a frightening statement to a lot of your viewers. You
talked just a second ago about President Biden and his military budget. We're going through this, and we're seeing all kinds of issues here. We reported last week how it would reduce the number of Army troops below 1 million for the first time, I believe, in a long time. And Republicans are also sounding the alarm on the Biden administration's plans to cut back on the modernization efforts to the nuclear program. Yesterday, at an Armed Services Committee hearing, Congressman Matt Gaetz got into this exchange with the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. Here it is.
The fact that you're embarrassed by your country? By
no. I'm embarrassed by your leadership. I am not embarrassed for my country. You guys said that Russia would overrun Ukraine in 36 days. You said that the Taliban would be kept at bay for months. You totally blew those calls. And maybe we would be better at them if the National Defense University actually worked a little more on strategy and a little less on wokeism.
Has it occurred to you that Russia has not overrun Ukraine because of what we've done and our allies have done?
But that was baked into your flawed assessment. That was baked into your flawed assessment.
Do you share Congressman Gaetz' concerns?
Well, to a very large degree, yes. But I want to make sure that the burden is placed where it belongs. The president, Joe Biden, under the United States Constitution, is commander-in-chief. So General Milley, by way of example, his Secretary of Defense, all the other generals and the chiefs of staff, everybody in the Pentagon is subject to the orders and the whims of the commander-in-chief. So to some degree, it all stops, the buck all stops with Joe Biden. And that's where we need to make sure that in the future we get presidents who understand the seriousness of our international situation and how national security must be first and foremost. What is the function of the military? That needs to be examined. To someone like me, who's somewhat of a military historian, it's pretty clear. The function of the military is to kill our enemies at minimal loss of life, at minimal expense. That is the function of the military. It's not wokeism. It's not teaching racism through CRT. It's not all these other things. It's being effective at the job of national security, which is killing our enemies when they pop out of their foxholes.
Congressman, I just have 30 seconds left, and I got to ask you, this is the first time we've spoken since President Trump withdrew his endorsement of you for the Alabama Senate race. Politico described it as the president throwing you under the bus. Is that how you would characterize it?
Well, as we all know, President Trump, he has his way of doing things for the reasons that he does them. But quite frankly, I like where we are. We have got a very liberal special interest group establishment candidate by the name of Katie Britt on the one hand, who has supported more tax increases as a Republican than any other Republican in Alabama history, clearly not a conservative. And on the other hand, we've got Mike Durant, who is a Lincoln Project candidate who's been pledged $15 million to run because he fits right in with Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, and Mitt Romney, according to the Lincoln Project people, keeping in mind that those are the three senators who just got through betraying our party in that vote yesterday on the Supreme Court nominee.
Well, we know how much the Lincoln Project misses Doug Jones in Alabama, so they're trying to make up for lost time. Congressman Mo Brooks, great to see you.
My pleasure. Thank you.